Hello and good evening. My name is Jeremiah Shaver and I'm a multimedia journalist with The Telegram. I am broadcasting live in downtown Jackson. We are here at the 83rd Annual Jackson Apple Festival, and it is the opening parade on Wednesday, September 18th. And as you can see by all the flashing lights, the Jackson Police Department is leading the opening parade here and making its way down Main Street. And following behind them, it looks like we have either the Color Guard or the Boy Scouts of America. But we should be able to see more once they get into the frame of the video here. Keep in mind, I'm a one-man show, and we'll be taking pictures while I'm doing video. And I will try to call it as I see it, as I have on other parades. So I don't have a list or anything. So if I mess up something, I apologize. But you guys have been here and watched before, so I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And leading the parade here, you have the Jackson Police Department. And, you see Chief Hinch driving the lead unit there, followed by the Boy Scouts of America. And then behind them, you can see the Apple Man. Actually looked back today. This particular costume for the Apple Man debuted in 2015 during the 75th Jackson Apple Festival. This is when the Apple Man outfit here, this particular model, debuted. Behind them, you can see Jackson Mayor Randy Evans and his wife Marlena making their way through the parade. And behind them, we have a unit, looks like from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. And looks like Cardell Jones is riding there with Jackson County Sheriff Ted Frazier, and I see wife Alice. And missed getting that photo. I should have been on the other side of the street. Coming up behind them, we have a unit from the High State Highway Patrol, waving as they make their way through the parade here on Wednesday night. And coming up behind them, we have a unit from the Village of Oak Hill. I see Davey Ward there, Chief for the Village of Oak Hill. And behind them, we have a unit from the Jackson County EMS. This is Medic 8-1 making their way through. We have a little bit of gap in the parade here, but I see walking down Main Street here, you can see Sparky, the fire dog, making their way up Main Street. And I believe this is a unit from the Jackson Fire Department, I do believe. And once again, I'd like to apologize if there's any video delay or audio delay. There is a lot of people up here for this parade tonight, and that can sometimes affect the cell service. And there goes Sparky the fire dog from the Jackson Fire Department. And behind them, you have that unit that I talked about, that ATV from the Jackson Fire Department. That's a new unit that they have with the old skid unit on the back. And behind them, you have the Jackson Fire Department Engine 1409 making their way through the parade. And behind them, you can see a unit here from the Grand Marshal. And I'm gonna walk over here and we're gonna get a picture. Here, we'll grab a picture real quick of you, Bill. All right, or so you got a big gap, you got time. All right, so that was your Grand Marshal, William Bill Cole. making their way through the opening parade.
All right, and then coming up next, this is your 2024 Jackson Apple Festival royalty. You have Queen Isabel Lunsford. She is from Oak Hill. And you have Macy Swan, who's the first attendant, and Alexa Butcher, who is the second attendant. Two of the three are from the village of Oak Hill. So there they are, making their way through the parade here on opening night. So there they go. All right, coming up, you have your 2023 Little Miss Apple Festival. That is Hattie Scarberry. And joining her on the float is your top 10 finalists. One of those young ladies will be crowned your 2024 Little Miss Apple Festival on Saturday morning. So there she is, making her way through the opening night parade. Top 10. And behind them, we have some cheerleaders from, I believe, Oak Hill. It should be Oak Hill High School. Fun fact, whoever the Jackson Apple Festival queen is, that is which band kind of follows along. Well, that's how it is in the school parade. But you can see you have the Oak Hill cheerleaders followed by your class of 2025 seniors from Oak Hill making their way through the parade, followed by the Jackson Marching Ironmen. So it's a little out of order because of how the royalty falls for this time. That was your Jackson Marching Ironmen, Jackson High School, making their way through the opening night parade here at the 83rd Jackson Apple Festival. And coming up next, you have Jackson High School cheerleaders, and you can see all the girls sporting shirts for the second attendant.
Jackson, Jackson, go, big red. Jackson, go, big red. Jackson, Jackson, go, big red. Jackson, Jackson, go, big red. Let's go, big red.
So the second attendant this year, Alexia Butcher, is from Jackson High School. The other two royalties are from Oak Hill High School. There goes the girls marching through. Lots of spirit there. And coming up behind them, I'm going to guess this is your class of 2025 from Jackson High School, making their way through the parade. And some of them are waving. I see one of the street team members. There they go, making their way through. That's the class of 2025 seniors from Jackson High School, making their way through. And kind of behind them, we've got a trailer here. I think this might be for like the I don't know if it's like the rec league or the Pee Wee folks for Jackson. So they're making their way through the parade. Look at all these little football players. Lots of them. Big crowd. Making their way through the opening parade here at your 83rd annual. And behind them, you got some of the, I think it's like your Pee Wee cheerleaders. So the youth cheer. Lots of them as well tonight, making their way through. And coming up next, that is McKenna Kraft. She is from Jackson High School. She is a 3-time female state wrestling champion. So there she goes, making her way through the parade this evening. And coming up next, we got Roller-Roo. That's your Cavalier roller rink here in Jackson. If you're ever looking for Friday night to go skating, check out Cavalier Roller Rink in Jackson. And up next, we got a van supporting the Crumble Cookie. Crumble Cookie, located in Chillicothe, Ohio. And the owners are local here in Jackson County. And coming up next, you have the royalty from the Oak Hill Festival of Flags. This royalty was crowned Memorial Day weekend. We were there for that crowning, and here they are making their way through the opening parade here at the Jackson Apple Festival. Blurry. Okay. And then we have this is the Southern Ohio Bruisers making their way through. That's a roller derby. Coming up next, we have one of these school floats. Trying to see which one of the views it is. Making their way through here. So this is Northview, making their way through with their lighted float there. Got some on the float and got a bunch of kids on foot here making their way through. There is Principal Melissa Ball marching with the kids through the parade this evening. Lots of youngsters making their way through. Coming up next, we have the Eclipse Baton Group. That's Jackson, Ohio. It was established in 1989. So here they come. And they're green and black with got the white boots with the pom-poms on them there as they march their way down Main Street. They got some glow sticks. then coming up next, we have another elementary school float. This is Bundy Elementary from Wellston City Schools, making the trip over to the city of Jackson here. Got a handful of kids on the float here from Bundy Elementary. Got their blue and gold float here as they make their way down Main Street. You can see some of the kids waving. And coming up next, you have the class of 2025. This is Wellston High School senior class making their way into the shot here. So that's good. Oh, there's Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner and the wife, Miss Mayor, on foot there. And there goes the this class of 2025 Wellston High School. And coming up behind them, we have this is senior citizen royalty. I know some of these folks were crowned during the Wellston Hilco the first week in September, but you have the Jackson King and Queen, along with the Wellston King and Queen and the Oak Hill Queen, all just made their way past the camera there. And behind them, you have a unit from the Jackson County Senior Citizen. This is one of their transportation bus style units. And we've got some seniors on there riding the bus this evening as they make their way through. And coming up next, we have a unit from Westview. This is Westview Elementary. And there is Principal Karen making their way through. So there goes a bunch of the youth from Westview making their way through the parade there. And coming up next, you have Holzer Health System. Got a crew of folks from Holzer Health System walking here in the opening night parade. So there's all those folks. I recognize a lot of faces from Holzer making their way through, and big group of them here tonight from Holzer Medical Center of Jackson. You can see everybody making their way through, waving as they go through. A lot of folks. I see a lot of folks that I recognize from Holzer. And coming up next, we have a unit from Holzer Senior Care Center. I see some folks riding on there. I see a lady I recognize, Miss Mabel, riding on the bus there. Very sweet woman, making her way through. And behind them, we have a truck from AJ Stockmeisters. AJ Stockmeisters Plumbing, Heating, and Supplies. And behind them, we have this is Top Tier Customs with a K, making their way through. Got one of those lifted Jeeps there. It's pretty neat. And coming into the frame, you have the Eastern High School Marching Eagles from Beaver. So we'll listen in to them as they march by. Library. It's their mobile unit. They take it out in the community to different places to serve the community. And behind them, you have the Community Action Committee of Pike County on foot, making their way through. And behind them, we have this is Pike County Head Start Community Action Committee there, making their way through the opening parade. And coming up next, this is your Says Ohio State Championship champions. I believe this is the Black Sox making their way through. There's Smalley driving the truck. But there they are. I believe this is your champions, Black Sox there. And coming up next, we have a unit from Southview Elementary making their way through. Parade tonight. Waving here. There they go. It's elementary students from Southview Elementary School. And coming up next, you have Show Dolls from Jackson, Ohio. This is a baton corps or group. They are making their way down Main Street right now. They are sporting a sparkly pink top and a black skirt with white shoes. And they all have some flashing lights in their hair. So you will see them as they make their way into the shot here. Coming up next, I believe this is like the trailer for the Jackson High School bass fishing team. And you can see the coach there driving the truck for the trailer. And I believe they did really good and made it to like state, regional, nationals, all that. It was either earlier this season or last year. You can see some of those members of the bass fishing team here riding in a boat. They actually got two here, it looks like. They make their way through the parade here on Main Street. There's another boat. Some more members of the fishing team there from Jackson High School. Coming into the frame, this is your 2024 Jackson County Fair royalty. Making their way into the frame. And that's Queen Natalie Allison there riding at the top. And they were crowned back in July during the Jackson County Fair. Well, actually they were crowned in July. But they went through a contest. It was back in April of this year, I think. So that was your Jackson County Fair royalty. We've got a little bit of a gap in the parade here, but we have another unit making its way up Main Street. This looks like Christian Life Academy, CLA, making their way up Main Street. Christian Life Academy, CLA, making their way through the parade. Got some folks waving as they make their way by. And behind them, you got the marching band from Christian Life Academy, CLA. It's a ministry of the Good Shepherd Wesleyan Church here in Jackson, Ohio. Next is a unit from Ron's Towing. behind them, we have another towing unit. This is a rollback unit, also from Ron's, making their way through. They got a big old dually truck on the back of this rollback. And behind them, you got one of those, I believe they call these slingshots. It's like a three-wheeled vehicle, two in the front and one in the back, making its way through the parade here. It was all lit up here for the nighttime Wednesday parade. Coming up next, we have some more royalty. This is Summers and Bloom royalty. And you can see those folks making their way through the parade here. You can see there's 4 of them on the float. Coming up next, we got a unit from Osborne's Equipment Service. Coming up next, we got another one of those, I believe they call them slingshot vehicles. This one's red in color, sporting kind of a, I say, Buckeye theme there. Got another little gap in the parade here, but I think next we got some units from Angles Towing. See this little towing unit making its way up Main Street here. That's Angles Garage and Wrecker Service, rather. 23-hour wrecker service. So they are making their way through the parade. It's a neat little towing vehicle there. And we got some more, this is one of the rollback units from Angles Garage. That's right here in Jackson. And behind them, we've got a truck from ODOT, that's the High Department of Transportation. I'm sure these folks are from the Jackson branch. We've got some clowns and spooky individuals making their way up Main Street right now, making their way through. Yeah, lots of spooky individuals here. That's the Jackson County Fair unit from there. They always usually have like a haunted barn and some other stuff that goes on out there. Behind them, you have one of those slingshots, and then I believe this is the Marching 110 from OVU. Well, the drum line from the marching, I think it's the 110. We have a unit from the Jackson County Veteran Services. And behind them, you have the DAV. And then bringing up the rear here for your Wednesday, September 18th opening parade. Got a couple red shirts there who put all the time and effort into this festival every year. So this is your 83rd annual Jackson Apple Festival opening parade has come to a close. So hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I'm gonna check my other phone here real quick to make sure that everything's up to date here, and then we will call it a night. All right, so it's been a very long day for this reporter, and I'm gonna call it a night. So we'll go ahead and sign off here for you guys. Reporting for the Telegram on theteleGramNews.com. I'm Jeremiah Shaver.